This is Old Man PHP. I create PHP video tutorials for you guys who want to learn a new skill and compete with the young crowd. This is video number 31. This is going to be a good one, guys. We're gonna use something to read a database, one of my favorite drivers called the PDO. Like this. PDO. And it stands for PHP Data Objects, because that's what we're going to be using. That's what PDO stands for. It is a database access like layer. It provides a fast and consistent interface for accessing and and managing your databases. There's another way to get to your database by using this thing which I also have used. It's called MySQLi. I use this like sometimes, but PDOs is the best. The PDO what I'm trying to say here, that MySQLi, which is actually a more recent version of MySQL, right? It works for a procedural way of accessing your database, and I've used it many times until I learned about PDO. And there's also MySQLi, that works with the OOP, which is the object-oriented programming, using that way. But I prefer the PDO. This one only supports, like I said, MySQL data, but the PDO is an advanced method along with the MySQL, right, which supports this like other databases called let me see, it's called Postgres, like that. Then there's another one that's SQL Lite. You don't see that. I mean, why am I giving you this? Then there is a Oracle, like it's famous. I mean, that's all over. Big companies use them. And then of course you got your Microsoft SQL Server. I use that a lot too. It was just tedious. It's always you have to do certain things. You kind of have to add more code just to get things working, man. That's why I prefer the PDO and MySQL, man. It's so much easier. Like every DBMS, database management system, has a specific PDO driver, right? So that must be installed when you are using PDO in every PHP application. When you start installing like exam like this, that's exam server, you get that. That's all part of the installation. I'll do another video about getting XAMPP set up on your machine. Now it simplifies that PDO. It simplifies the database operations. Man, you can create database connection, execute queries. It is great for handling errors. I mean, I love this one. Once you're done, you just need to close the connection, and that's it. When you want to connect to the PHP and MySQL, you just need like 3 steps. Like the first one is like you gotta do the connection to the database. Then you gotta run MySQL queries, and then you gotta, of course, close the database connection. You don't want to have it open. I want to show you here that this is what my database looks like. This is MySQL, what it looks like. See, it has all the structure that see right here. This is the actual database names. I mean, I got create this, coffee affiliation, boss lady journey. I mean, I got a whole bunch of them. But the one we're going to use today is log users. And this one has all kinds of tables. These are tables. I'll show you also how to create these things when the time comes. Then if I hit one of the table, which is this one, which happens to be this one, you kind of say, look, if I went to the structure right here, it'll show you what it looks like. This is the group ID, which I'll show you how to create all this. This is the first file name, the title, description, because we're using this table to create so we can keep track of paintings, artwork. That's what we're going to do there. When you browse it, you kind of see it, oil painting, acrylic, that kind of thing. So it's fantastic. So we're going to be using that one, the gallery, really, under the log user database. So to get at it, this thing when you get a chance, stop the tape, write it down, because what I'm going to show you is exact. If you just memorize how you do this, man, when you go to interviews and they ask you the questions, you have your answers, right? Because you have done this. So remember how we showed you how to define constants? That you could use the word constant, and then you can use the word define. Well, we're going to do that now. We're going to define two of them. We're going to define let's do another one. The first one we're going to use is going to be the actual name. Remember, this is all working under the local host, right? So normally we use something completely different, and passwords in a real production. And of course, I would never show you. But I'm gonna, since we're dealing with the local host, this is how we're doing it. We're going like this, right? You're gonna create something called user, right? That will be your constant. Remember how we made that work? And then of course, they all have roots, right? When you do, wait a minute, where's my other? There you go. Now this one, we're going to do a constant for the password. I'm going to call it pass. And then of course, you're going to give it a password. Now in this particular case, I don't really have a password. So I just kind of do this. If you did, you will have to put it down. All right, now we also want to define the DSN, the source name, So we're going to say $DSN. This is something you're going to be using. And remember, since you are using MySQL, this is how you have to do the connection, right? So this is MySQL, because it is MySQL. Then you're going to say that the host equals to local host. Now, if you're doing this in a production system, you got to call GoDaddy and they'll give you that information. And then you go semicolon, because that means that's the end of it. And I want to send database name. See, database name equals, and since we're using log user, this is what you put right here. So you're going to say log user, like that. And of course, never forget the semicolon. Now, remember that thing that we tried before? No pun intended. Try and catch. Well, we're going to do this here because you should always do this. When you're going to create a connection file, and normally I'm putting all this stuff all in one file, but in reality, this part of it, of this connection, should be in a separate file, okay? It's best for, security reasons. It's good to have pieces all over them. Anyway, so let's do the try. Let's say try, right? And then, we have a catch, right? So we'll put it over here. We say catch. And that's also going to have two parentheses, right? Maybe it could be together, but it doesn't matter. Then you go like this. And there you go. That's it. So what we do is we're going to try this. Look, all you did was assign. That's it, to a variable and constants. But now you want to try it, right? Now, this particular thing has this DB thing. It's part of the PDO. You're going to assign that whole object. Remember I told you got classes, which is a blueprint, and then you use that to create the actual object. Well, this is kind of the same thing. The PDO has its own class, has all kinds of stuff, and we're going to assign that to a variable. So we're going to say $db, database, get it? And then you're going to say new. You're going to say, hey, I want to create a new object. So you're going to say db, let's put a little space here. It doesn't matter, but it's good to have, And then we'll do this, and then we'll put it somewhere. Now in here is where you put this information. Remember the DSN, you're going to put it right here. Then you're going to say, let's write this. This will be the username. And the reason why it's good to keep it as constant because you don't want anything to change that. Remember, constant can't be changed. So, by mistake, that's another security reason why you should do it that way. Then you got DB, put a space here so it'll look better, right? So that's it. I want you to try this, and if there's an error opening this, I want you to catch it. And if you caught it, I want you to put. And what we're going to use now is the actual, remember that PDOs has properties and it also has methods. But we're going to use one that's the PDO, and it's called exception. This way you can see, how you spell that? Exception. And then, and if you did catch it, I want you to put it in this variable called E. Everybody uses that. Then you're going to say error message, right? So let's say you got a $ERR underscore, let's say message, that would be good, right? And you're going to say this, and then because you already, if you caught that error, it's going to go in here. Now you're going to use that. You're going to use that object, so which is E, and you're going to use one of their function, but it's called a method, right? Don't get that confused with the method that you got in an HTML form. This is not a method in that case. This is a method, and it's just another word for function. I don't know. I don't know. Who invented it? That's what they said. All right. So then what you do is you say echo. Another guy too. I just forgot his name. And you want to say error. I don't know. Message. Anything you want. Let's put a space here. Do this. We'll do this, and then we'll write this. Let's put this here. Should we put a, like one of those things to jump down? Yeah, maybe. Let's put that this just in case. That's it. Let's just do it as one, since I'm doing it one over there. Really doesn't matter. Ah, no. My hand's falling asleep here. Then you're going to do the semicolon, and then that was it. See? So if there's some error, this one's an object and this is an error, then it's going to, the PDO exception was going to dump that error into this object, and now you're going to call this object, and you're going to call the method, which happens to be a function. And what that does is just runs an error. It takes the error that you had and kind of just puts it in here. That's all it is. And then you of course, echo it, and you can put whatever you want in the front here. Put it in the back, it doesn't matter. I like it this way. You get it? Error message, and it shows you what the error message is. Anyway, that's just one of them. Now, I want to continue because this is great stuff. So if we're here, we want to exit out of this too. So once we finish with this part, I just want to exit. So make sure you do the exit like this, so you can exit out. Get it? That way you don't no longer have to deal with this, because you already did it. Now, what we want to do is we want to go in here to this database, call this database here, and call this table, which happens to be this right here. And then I want this information. Let's see. I want this information. I want this. I want the file name. I want this stuff. And that's when you use these commands that I'm about to show you. So let's go a little bit up. It's going to be a little long, but not too bad. So what you're going to do, you're going to say, you're going to create a query, a select like this. You're going to create a variable, right? And then you're going to run a statement, select. And then you're going to say, I want all of them. I want you to select all of them. That's what that asterisk is, from gallery, because that's the database you want, right? Oof. So we say select, there you go. And then you're going to hit this, of course. Is it called gallery? I want to be sure. Yes, it is. All right, so I want you to select everything in gallery. So it's going to select everything here, right? And then I want to, now remember, for security reasons, instead of doing execute that thing, no, I want to create a prepare statement. That prepare statement is going to help out. So if you say that table underscore prepare, this stuff is good. This stuff you're going to use all the time. And it's way better than the other way. Let's see, we got this, and then we're going to say, remember we did the DB, which is right here. We created the object because you got that word new. So now this is an object. Now you're going to put this object right here, and guess what? That object happens to have a method called prepare. And the reason you want to use the prepare is because of security reason, it really protects you really well. So if you say, let's take this in here. Let's add this to this method, right? So let's go like this. Now I want to execute it, right? I want to execute this. I mean, you could have executed this alone like that, but prepare statement gives you more protection. So then you say, how you do this? Okay, you could say dollar. I gotta use this. So might as well. We'll cut and paste. And then guess what? Since this is part of the prepare statement, right? Well, guess what? This also has a method called execute. So then you say execute, right? And don't forget the, see it like that. And then you want to fetch it. So let's say you want to, after you have done this, what we're going to do now, I mean, got to do something, right? So let's fetch this. So let's say fetch, let's say all, because we want to call, because I said asterisk, wildcard, all, we'll call it fetch all. Now in here, we're going to say equal to, and then we're going to say table, this thing right here, see? We're going to put assign it an object, and then it also has a method called fetch all. Isn't that cool though? What? Did I spell that right? Yeah. Well, this, I don't see no brown, no, so far so good. All right, so now what I want to do after you have done fetching this thing, right? I want you to close it up. I want you to close that connection to the database. You don't want to leave it open because everything is here already. You don't need this anymore. So you go like this, right? And then you say, guess what? It has a method called close. And then you got to write the word cursor. That's just the way they did it. That's what they called it. Well, that's why they call it that. It's them, ask them. So if now we have this information, what do you do? Wait a minute. I don't see anything. Where is it? Where's this thing at? So now you're going to use your for each, because remember, when this does this, it creates an array. All this information, this thing, all of these files, let's go to structure. All of these fields will be in here. In the information, everything. So what do? You use the for each, so you can iterate through the whole thing. So you got this, right? And then you got, of course, the semicolon, because you want, you know, and we're going to echo something simple. What should we, first of all, let's take this within the for each, just stick it in there. Remember how we do it? This the array, then we say as, and then let's just cut it down short. So we say bet, I don't know, something like that. You can call it whatever you want. You can say F. Okay, so you're here, right? So now you're gonna say $fet because you're already in there, and of course because it's an array, you go like this, and then you say dot. Then you say, wait a minute. Then you say, because we're gonna, oh wait a minute, it needs a T, because that's what we called it here. T. All right. Since we're going jumping down, like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe this will do the job. Now, what's the name of the, what is it called? Right here it's called GID. So what we do is we put it in here as GID. Hope I got it all right, because, you know, I've been getting errors, but we've been fixing them too, so that's also a good thing, right? So let me see, does it have, what we got here? This one belongs to this one. This one belongs to that one. And you got this one that belongs to this one. Do we have anything else? Be-do-boo-be-da-ba-ba. Did I spell everything right? Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot in the shorts. And there you go. See all these numbers? Where is it? Right here, look. All of these, 1, 2. So if we do the browse, I'll show you, see? Well, right now it's in different order, but as you can see, it's all there. I mean, I can go like this and say 250. It's probably big. See? So all these numbers are there. So where is it? It's right over here. 3, 4, blah, blah, blah. And it skipped a lot of, there's some that was skipped, but that's okay. So then you have that, right? And look at this. You can, I mean, I could have just put in here, what can we put here that to change this a little bit? We could say, how about we do like this? Let's put a little space here, like that. And then we're gonna add this, and then we're gonna take this, put it, where are we? Right here. Then we're gonna add this dot, and then we're gonna change this to, what do we call this? File name, okay. So we say file name, file name, and how about we do another one? Let's do this. Dot, we're gonna call this medium, because that's the medium. We got it, oils, and then we're gonna put a little dot here. Okay, so we got this. It'll give me this hyphen name hyphen and medium. Okay, let's see. So we go here, and then we say boom. There we go. See the name of the actual painting, old man gallery, and oil painting. Isn't that fantastic? Now remember, we're using this right here, but we can change this, right? So what we could do is we're gonna even make it more special. So what happens? And let's copy this. Let's put it over here. How about if we I like to put 3. 2 for like regular comment stuff, and I like to, if I'm gonna make something like a command and comment, I just add another you know, /. So we're not going to use this. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, I want everything from this gallery where the medium, which is where the medium is. Where are we? There it goes. Where's the medium? Right here. The medium. So I want to say where the medium. Where are we? Where the medium equals like that. And inside there, we're gonna create a name, and we're gonna call it medium, like this. This medium is just not the same as this medium, okay? We're gonna put that semicolon there. This has become a placeholder, or we will be making it a placeholder. But how will we know? How do we know to get the medium of oil painting? So what we're going to do is up here, we're going to create a dollar medium, and then we're going to assign the word, or how did we do it? Let me see. Okay, so right here, look, oil painting. So we're going to say oil paints. I think that's oil paints, like that. I want to see all the oil paints. So now, see, this is a variable. Yeah, you think you could put it, yeah, and you could possibly put it right in there too, but you got to make sure you change this to double quotes. But we're not going to do that because we're doing the protection. This is protection. So what happens is you're going to say this is a placeholder, right? So now this guy here, he will run this, but he's not going to know. He's not going to know, because remember, when he executes, he's going to do this. They're going to execute this, and they're going to say, what the hell is this? We know it's going to have become a placeholder, but I don't know what it is. This is why we created this. But we're not going to put this within this here, unless you put double quotes and change this to dollar medium. But we don't want that. We want more protection. So it does the, let me bring this up a bit, like this. And before we do the execution, I just want to, let's see, we got the oil paints, we got the select dollar equals the medium. Okay, so this is what we do. So right here between these two guys, we want to take this, put it here, and then we're going to say, okay, just again, it has another method called bind, because you want to bind the value. See, bind, and of course you got the parentheses, right? So let's do the parentheses, and let's close it up and go like this. See, you want to do this, so now you're telling it, okay, you did this, but I want you to bind this with this. So what you do is you put it in here. You say, this is your placeholder, medium. Did I spell that right? Yes, I did. Then you say comma, and then of course your variable that you're going to be using. So when you put the variable right in there, it's going to do it. Okay, see, now it's going to bind it, and when you execute it, let's save it. Hopefully this will work. Oh man, boom, there you go. It worked. See, it bind. Let me make this. See it, let's put it over here. A bind, it took this and put it in here. Now normally you would say that and then put this information in, especially if you change this to you know, to a double quotes. You can put this in there, because remember, when the variable is with double quotes, that means that it will translate it, right? Give you the actual value. But by doing it this way, you're giving it that extra protection. So now you're binding this. There's no way that the robots would try to do this for you and all that. You know what I mean? And then when you run it, of course, you get this. Isn't that wonderful? You can use this, man. This thing is going to be fantastic. This is something that you can use. There is a couple of PDO qualifiers, but for now this is perfect. This is what you need. Well, we reached the end, and if you enjoyed this video and you learn about the advanced PHP PDO, Drivers, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, and this will help grow my channel. And the next video I will talk more about the advanced PHP mail utility that you can use within your PHP program. It'll be something like this, just like that, and you put all this information in there, you run it, and you definitely will get email from your from your mail utility, your mail function. It's that. Okay, man. Until next time, good night.